Hello my friends, welcome to this video. It is a cloudy day here in Vienna, so I apologize if the lighting is a little bit dull. I actually have a really nice lighting setup that I'm just usually too lazy to actually pull out, and now I feel like I'm relying a little bit too much on the natural light and like trying to plan my filming days around when it's sunny out and everything, and I thought it was going to be sunny today, but surprise, unreliable weather reports. Anyways, I am happy to report that my face is symmetrical again. If you watched my last video, you know that recently I got my wisdom teeth removed, and guess what? I am fully recovered, minus the gaping holes in my mouth where my teeth once were. I don't know if that's normal. If you've ever had your wisdom teeth removed, please let me know. But like, there's a massive hole in my mouth and food just keeps getting stuck in it. It's a whole thing. But anyways, I wanted to say thank you to everybody who left a comment in my last video telling me to get well soon. And you know what? I really appreciate that. I think that it certainly helps. And speaking of thank yous, that's what this video is about. Saying thank you. More specifically, it's all about gratitude. This video is gonna be a bit more chill. We're doing more of a podcast kind of style today, so feel free to make yourself a cup of tea, maybe pull out some creative project that you're working on, and let's get into it. So if this is our first time meeting, I'm Brooke, and I have been a full-time painter for the last 9 years, and I want to talk to you today about how I feel that gratitude really helped me achieve this. In the world that we live in today, I think that being a full-time artist is actually quite the privilege. It's a lot harder to make a living selling art than it is selling necessary things like food or clothing or houses, for example. And as much as I think that art actually makes your life a lot better, I don't think that there's anything disputing that, it isn't necessary to survive. If there is some kind of zombie apocalypse, I think that we're gonna be grabbing our canned food rather than grabbing our paintings. Being a full-time artist is a privilege that you gain through effort and through creative expression, and when you ask the world to support you in this and the world agrees, I think that that is something to really be grateful for. In my first couple years of painting full-time, when I was really trying to make my art career work, this was really present in my mind. I was freshly chasing my dream, and I was so thankful for every little win. When somebody purchased a painting from me, this was like the best high of my life. And that high was gratitude. But I wasn't only grateful for the people who bought my work, I was also grateful for my parents who were letting me live rent-free at their house while I tried to save up as much money as possible. And I was grateful for my mentor, Tim Packer, who was really giving me valuable advice on how to start an art business. And I think that when you feel grateful for things, you really don't take them for granted. You want to do those things justice, you know? I think that those things are really like gifts that are given to you, and so you really want to make sure that you're valuing those things. So gratitude becomes this mindset for persistence and also resilience. When you're really focused on what is working for you and the gifts that have been given to you and the things that you've already achieved and in all of the possibilities ahead of you, you also don't have any time to fester in self-doubt and comparison to other people. And honestly, when you feel grateful, you feel happy. I recently watched a TED Talk by David Steindl-Rast, who is a monk and interfaith scholar, originally from Vienna, wouldn't you know? And he said, if you're grateful, you're not fearful. You act out of a sense of enough and not out of a sense of scarcity. And I think that those words really have an impact. At the risk of sounding a bit too woo-woo, I will say that I read the book The Secret, which is all about the law of attraction, and say what you will about pseudoscientific beliefs, but I do think that the universe responds to the energy that you put out into it. So if you are acting in this scarcity mindset, then that's what is gonna come back to you. But if you're coming from a place of this is enough and I'm grateful for what I have, then that's also the stuff that's going to come back to you. I'm not an expert on this kind of stuff. I started listening to the Huberman podcast about gratefulness, but then it was like an hour and a half long, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to speak from my own heart on this one. I am always trying to focus on what is going right and to feel optimistic about my future and also the future of the world, because I always think that it's a better thing to be operating from a place of love rather than a place of fear. But at the same time, the key word in that message was try, because it is not always easy to do that. Sometimes you have really bad days and it's hard to feel really grateful for the things in your life. But you know what? You just have to keep on trying, and that's natural. That's life. But maybe I'm getting a little bit off track here. So circling back to art and how I think that gratitude has helped me actually sell more art in my full-time artist career. When I was in university, I studied landscape architecture, and although I'm not actively using that degree anymore, there was something that one of my profs said that really stuck with me, and that was to always leave your client with a handwritten thank you note. In the first couple of years of painting full-time, I really took this to the next level. I wasn't just hand writing cards, I was also hand painting them. So every time somebody bought an original painting, I would make these tiny little watercolor thank you cards, and there was a year or two where I actually hand painted Christmas cards, and at the end of the year I would send them out to all of my customers who bought artwork from me that year. And I would just try and put into words the gratitude that I felt for their support. And I think that receiving something like that in the mail really lets your customers know that you truly value them, and when they feel valued, it's a way to form a deeper connection with them, and also kind of like this sense of loyalty. If you show your customer a really great experience when they're purchasing artwork from you, the chances are that they are going to do it again in the future. At least that's been my experience. Over the past 9 years of painting, I've had so many return customers, and showing gratitude and appreciation is really a way to create this sense of loyalty with your customer base. Handwritten cards are even little freebie gifts that you can kind of give with your orders. Those types of things never go unnoticed. I definitely recommend doing that. Now, as my business and my task list has grown, I unfortunately do not have the time to make everybody hand-painted cards. It's just not permitted by my now busier schedule, even though I really liked doing that and it would be super fun to keep doing it. But I always make sure with the sale of original work where I'm doing all the packaging and shipping myself, I always, no exceptions, include a handwritten thank you card with the order. I also think that if you would like social media to be a part of your business, and if you are not aware, I have been using Instagram for the last 7 years to basically market my work, and that's how I've been making a living. I think that it's really important to take all this info and apply it to social media as well. And what I mean by that is that when people are showing interest in your artwork and they're complimenting you on what you're doing and they're giving you words of encouragement and support, I think it's also really important to express gratitude to those people. When I revamped my YouTube channel a few years ago, I was responding to every single comment. Every comment that came in, I was like, thank you so much, thank you so much. And it makes you feel good to express this gratitude. And I think that this is also something that is really applicable to more like small scale creators, I guess you could say, because it's way more manageable to be doing that when you have a smaller audience. I mean, like if you're only responding to 5 to 10 comments a day, that's a lot different than having to spend hours responding to hundreds or thousands of comments. So I would really recommend, especially if you are, you know, just starting your Instagram, YouTube, whatever social media platform where you're trying to market your work on, really take the time to tell the people who are interested in your work that you appreciate them. I am at the point now where I'm struggling a little bit with the comments, and it's a bit of a conundrum because on the one hand, I love reading the comments, hearing what you guys have to say, and I really, really appreciate them. But on the other hand, it's also like a little bit overwhelming, and I kind of struggle with these feelings of guilt when I can't respond. And then I'm like, okay, well, you know, I don't want to only respond to a certain few people and then not respond to the other people. So then I end up like not responding at all to anybody. And then I'm like, wait, that doesn't make me feel good either. Like, I don't know. I'm still trying to kind of figure out what to do in that sense. Just know that I am reading all the comments, and I think what I'll do is just start liking every single one. And you can know that when I heart your comment, it is a sincere sign of my appreciation and gratitude for you being there and watching my video for real. Or maybe I can just like spend the first hour after I upload a video responding to all of the comments that come in within that hour. I don't know. Is that a better idea? Anyways, all in all, I just want to declare that I really appreciate everybody being here and supporting me. Thank you so much. Even if you don't know it, I am grateful for you being here. And I have started to have a kind of secret gratitude practice also for my customers, because I'm not only selling original paintings, I'm also selling my Notion template and prints all the time. And it's kind of impossible for me to be messaging every single person saying thank you. Instead, every time I get an order on my online store, I take a moment and I say out loud, thank you, in the customer's name. Thank you, Francesca. Thank you, Chantel. Thank you, fill in the blank, anybody. I just say it out loud because I think that that's also a reminder for me that that's a real person. That's an actual person that actually bought something off of my store. And I think that in this day and age when we live in such a online world where everything is done like through screens, it's kind of hard sometimes to recognize that there's actually another human on the other side of that who is supporting you, even if you don't have this face-to-face contact and everything. Even though I don't really have enough time anymore to be individually thanking everyone, I still do take a moment to recognize that's a person and say thank you to them, whether they know it or not. So my friends, I really encourage you to invite some gratitude into your life because I think that it'll really make a difference. I love my job and I am so grateful that I can do this. And I'm also grateful to be a creative person, to have interests in making art, and to be surrounded by other people who like making art and appreciate art. I have so many things to be grateful for, and I am always reminding myself of that because it also just makes my reality so much sweeter when I can say like, this is the life that you wanted, to be an artist, to be able to pursue your own creative impulses and make a living from it. I don't know, when I very first started doing this, my goal has always been to see how far I can get, you know, see how far I can push my skills, to see how far I can develop as an artist, and to be given that opportunity to be able to do that. Wow, that's something to be grateful for. Can I get an amen? And this gratitude also keeps encouraging me to pursue my goals, and I hope that it can do the same for you too. I think this video is going to be a little bit more on the shorter side, though. I still appreciate hanging out today, and I'm looking forward to the next video that we will experience together, hopefully, if you come back for more. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a bit of traveling, a bit of art making, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope to see you there. As always, guess what? Grateful for you. Grateful that you're here. I appreciate you. And if you want to see more, consider hitting the subscribe button if you haven't already. You can catch me on Instagram. Honestly, haven't been posting that much lately, but I'll get back to it. BrookeCormier.com. Well, that's my website. My Instagram is @BrookeCormier. You can find me online @BrookeCormier in various places. Have a fabulous day. I'm Brooke Cormier, and I'll see you next time.